What's up, people? Perry here with another episode of Surviving Creatively, and it's the third episode this week of Surviving Creatively. And if you're wondering, why is Perry just focusing on Surviving Creatively, that is because I've switched over to a new format. And if you'd like to know a little bit more about that, I will leave a link in the description below, just giving you a little update on why I made this change. And this is going to be the last episode for this week. And next week we'll be switching over to a new series, or another series, which I have yet to determine just yet. I'm still working on that. But things have been going really well this week. I think that this format's worked out quite well for me. I'm really excited. I think excited is the word I will use for this whole thing, about the build and the way it's going. I really have had time to focus on the build itself and being able to kind of concentrate my efforts on something and not to have to focus my attention away from different things has been very important. But if you notice from the last episode, there's a little bit of a change. The crenellations, you'll see, they are much different than they were before, and that is because of your comments. And I've made a change. You might have noticed in the last episode I talked a little bit about the crenellations. I was kind of on the fence about it, and I was thinking about just leaving it as sandstone, but some of you had expressed opinions about not liking the sandstone on here, so I went about making some changes and listening to your comments and giving you some ideas to kind of vote on. I came up with something like this, and it was the first option that was the most popular. Now, there were other ones, and there were a lot of comments, and thank you so much for commenting on the video. I really did get a kick out of reading all the different options that you did give me. It wasn't just the 3 options that I presented to you before. It was also some of the options that you came up with yourself. So I thank you for that. But I decided to go with the first option because, you know what? I was thinking about going with the stone slabs along with the sandstone in the middle. But there's one thing that I try to avoid when it comes to design, and that is compromise. And that is mixing together the best of both worlds into something that might be a good design. And the reason why I say that is that I do tend to compromise every once in a while, but in compromising, you tend to get the worst of both worlds, I find, and that's something that I try to stay away from in design. Now, in marriage and in friendships, compromise is a very good thing, and it's something that you should really learn before you either get married or, keep friends around with you. Compromise is very, very important. What am I doing there? And it's something that I think, when it comes to design, do not compromise. At least try not to. I have on occasion tried to make compromises here and there, and it's really not turned out to be the best. And what I'm doing right now is I'm just filling in these little holes here, these little gaps, because we're gonna try out a little project, and we'll see how far we can get in this episode. But as far as compromise goes, design, don't do it. It's one thing to kind of say to yourself, you know what, I'll just appease everybody and try and make everybody happy. But the one thing about design that I've learned is that when you go ahead and try to give people what they want, you end up not pleasing everybody. So what really ends up happening is that you got to go with what you feel is your best gut opinion. And really, when you go ahead and pursue that design, you try out something new, you be bold and just being able to stick your head out there and say, I'm committing to this one specific thing just because I like it. Oftentimes you will learn a lot more from that than just pandering to those people. And I know in the last episode I called my episode Pandering Perry, but and that's really just in jest for you guys. But most of the time, don't compromise. Go with your gut opinion, whether or not it's right or wrong. If you like it, stick with it. And I promise you, you'll learn so much more about design from that than just making sure that everybody's okay with what you're doing. So I thank you guys so much for your comments. I love reading them every time, and I always talk about me loving reading your comments and all that good stuff. I think what we're doing here, though, is I'm starting to clear away a bit of this mess here. It's going to be a walkway up to the whatchamacallit, up the castle, up the side here. I'm thinking about putting in stairs, but it might be an option. I don't know. I can't put slabs down because slabs won't really fit here. You need at least like a step, and then you put a half slab here and then another step. That's the only way it will work. And for this, I don't think we're going to be able to do that. Let's try stairs, and we'll see how it turns out. So we'll get some stone stairs, or stone brick stairs, something like that. It's an easy option, and I think that for this, it doesn't have to be really wacky in design. It's just a simple functional step up, and we don't have to go that far up. Or maybe we'll just make it all the way up to the top, and we'll see how it looks. All right, so we'll just leave it there. Here, I'll worry about connecting it later, but we'll take a look at the stairs down from below. It's again, it's nothing special, just a nice simple staircase up, and I quite like that actually. That actually works out quite well for my eye. And in terms of practicality with the crenellations, these little holes here, they kind of work. I don't really see too many problems with it. Nah, that looks good. That looks really good. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to have this staircase here, and then there'll be another one down below, and then that will kind of connect everything together. Now, what I did want to talk about is right here. There's an opportunity for us to put some sort of a build, and there is this little castle topper up here. But here, there's really nothing, and I think this would be a good opportunity for us to make a focal element and maybe stray a bit away from our plain old brick patterns here. All the grays that are here is something that I'll try and get away from here and there, and I think as we go along, I might find a block that will suit this place. Maybe something along the edges, possibly. Well, I'm just using sandstone, so don't go with what I'm doing here, but there might be an opportunity for us to place in a little bit of detail, something like that, just going around the edges, just to, I know that the whole thing is gray, but I want just a little element of color in there, and the sandstone I'm probably not gonna go with, but I do want to add in my own little element of maybe a blue. I did notice in the comments one of you mentioned that using the I think I used the lapis blocks. Lapis might be a good idea. We'll just try that out real quick. Now that the ideas have been popping in my head and presented by you guys in the comments, of course, we'll just try it out and see how it looks, and whether or not it's something that I can incorporate with the rest of the building. Hey, you know what? That's not bad. That's not bad. I do like it. I think a nice little border along the top. with everything that's gray here, once you put in any other color, it could be any color really, it really stands out and it really calls attention to it. So I don't know. That's an idea. I like it. I'm going to continue this all the way around the edge here, and we can take a better look at it, because I'm really feeling this idea right now. I'm just going to go with it and see how it turns out. That might be a little weird, and then we got some problems here with this sort of, because I want the border to be 1 block thick, but we have a couple of options here where it doesn't really tie together nicely. If I just put in 1 block there, we got to tie it together sort of like that. And all right, oops, here we go, fix that up. Okay. That looks interesting. That looks very interesting. That's something I'll think about. It's not a final design right now. But what I did want to concentrate on, and what I was alluding to earlier, was this little place right here. We have an opportunity to put some sort of a shack. It's kind of out of the way. And, this would be, if I was planning a castle, this would be a good place to put someplace with windows. I don't know. Most of the castle will remain mostly windowless. I'll add in little slots here and there, but for the most part, windows are not going to be a really big part of the castle. But this area, since it's so secluded and out of the way from any sort of bombardment, maybe, I don't know, this would be a good opportunity for us to maybe make a little house here, a little shack. And so why don't we try and go ahead and start planning this out. I'm not too sure how far I'll get into this in the episode, but in the next one, which may be coming up in 2 weeks' time or 3 weeks' time, we'll get back to it and I can show you what the final design will look like. But at least right now we can kind of start the planning process or the building process of it. Now, I do want to sort of follow along with the curvature of the castle. And for now, I think we will stick. We'll stick with the stone slabs right now, just to plan everything out. Now, I want to kind of follow the staircase, the width of the staircase, all the way out and around this tower. I do think that we have enough room for people to kind of mill about here, but I don't want to make the build too small. Okay, just thinking about things right now. Maybe we'll start it right here. We'll find the center points here. We're going to make it a little impromptu circle. So I want to find where the center line is on this point of the circle, and then I want to find the center point on this part of the circle. If it doesn't make sense to you, it'll make sense in a little bit. I'm gonna push out 3 blocks from here and another 3 blocks from there, just to keep things nice and even, and then we can go ahead and try to fiddle around with the design of the circle, and then hopefully we'll come up with something decent, something like that. That looks very circular. Nice, simple, easy. All right, so now all we have to do is copy that all the way around. All right, there we go, very nice. So we have an outline of what will be the perimeter of this build, and I'm thinking right now we want to add in some structure to it, some structural elements, and I think that, do I want to match it up with this? Now, the problem with matching it up with the crenellations is that it might blend in too easily. I'm worried about maybe some problems with everything lining up, because we're dealing with blocks here, so there's really some give here and there when it comes to the design. Well, there's really no give when it comes to the design. You either have a block here or a block there. So I think we'll try and follow along with the crenellations just for now, and we'll see how far we get in terms of our spacing. I do keep a spacing of 2 blocks in between these crenellations, and we'll do the same here. I think we might have to do with the height just a little bit. Alright, so I stepped away for a little bit just to kind of get my bearings and concentrate a little bit more on the design, and this is what I've come up with so far. It's not the final design, but I am working towards something that I think will be pretty special. I'm not going to be working on this for very much longer because of time constraints and the stuff that I have to do, but I'm just going to go ahead here and start finishing up some of the little details here. And while I'm doing that, I wanted to say that this week has been pretty good. I'm in a really good place right now, which is why there's going to be a very important video that's going to be coming out very soon, probably on the Monday following. This video is coming up on Saturday, so I did say that I would have another one-off video on Sunday. I wanted to take some time off from that and concentrate specifically on this one video, which will be the most, and I'm not joking here, the most important video that I will make on this channel. And I'm not trying to hype it up or anything. It is that important to me. I wanted to take that Sunday off just to get everything right for the video that will be coming out on Monday. But I have been in such a good place this week that I think that I can actually commit to this. I'll be able to work on this as much as I can, as much as I think that I'm able to, and as long as I can do that, I think that we can do something pretty great on this channel. But as far as the design goes, it looks pretty good. I decided to go with the lapis in the middle there, and hopefully what this will do is it will tie it in with the rest of the palace once most of it gets built around this area. But it is also sort of a focal element, so we do want to use some different blocks in this area. Now I know with the ribbing and all that stuff, there's a lot of these slabs here, the stone slabs, so it kind of gets a little bit lost in there, but that's something that I'll have to work on as we go through here. But we're gonna have to leave the series and move on to another one next week. So we're saying that I hate leaving it like this in this state. I would rather leave off the week with at least some sort of a completed build, but we did get this part of the castle going, and I think it looks pretty good so far. So what I'm going to do is you can follow me on Twitter. That's @ProPerryLP. And from there, I'll post pictures of updates in the Surviving Creatively world and any other series that I'll be doing, some of the design choices that I make as we go along. I'll try to be more active on Twitter. So like I said, that's going to be it for this episode. I thank you guys so much for watching. You have no idea how much it means to me seeing all the views that I get on this channel, and the fact that you guys are getting inspiration from it really, like I said, means a lot to me. So don't forget to hit that thumbs up. It really helps me out a lot. Don't forget to leave your comments down below of anything that you see here, and if you're new to the channel, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. So that is it for me. That is it for this week. Very good week. Always remember, keep your head up, and I will see you in the next one.